everybody, this is Mac in Action and I am Mackenzie, and I'm so excited that this year I'm going to try my absolute best to do monthly reset videos, because those are honestly just the videos that I enjoy watching the most. I love watching them. I love the organization, the productivity that comes with them. So I'm going to start my January one today. I don't know exactly when I'm going to upload this video, so it might be halfway through the month, but I am filming this on January 1st. In the future, I might post them a little early so that anyone else who's interested in doing reset days at the beginning of each month can use the ideas and not have to start too late. So this is January's reset video. I hope you like it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below if there's any other ideas that you have that you'd like to see in my reset videos. Today, what I'm going to do, as you can see, all my Christmas decorations are still up, and that's okay. I kind of like leaving them up a little bit throughout January just because it's still festive and it's like cozy inside still. So I will probably show you some of that depending on when I post this reset, or maybe I'll make a separate video for that. But right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start reflecting on my 2023. I did a little bit yesterday, but I wanted to put it in this vlog. And then I'm also going to write in my calendar. And then I love having a very long quiet time and spending a lot of time with God, especially on the first day of the new year, just to remind myself that my 2024 is going to be for Jesus. So I'm going to be doing that, and I'll take you along and I'll just show you what I'm doing for each of the things. But the first thing we're going to start with is my calendar. So I have a paper calendar and I have an acrylic calendar that's on our fridge, just so that Robbie and I can be on the same page for everything. First, I'm going to start filling out my paper calendar. I've already filled out all the birthdays, and I used my last year's calendar to do that. And I filled out a few things that are coming up, but I have a few more things to add. And then I need to reset the acrylic calendar because it's still December, because we just got back home from traveling. So come along while I show you that, and then I'll show you what we're going to do next. So when I fill this out, I like to put all the birthdays first and use my calendar from last year. But I also started putting some other things that are coming up in the same color because I didn't have another pen while we were at my mom's. But I have all my things now, and we are going to get started with a few things that I know that are coming up this month. So I have my physical paper calendar filled out. The only few things that I have going on so far in January are a dinner with some people at our church, a book swap / book club thing that I'm doing with some young women from my church, and then the January birthday dinner that my family does, because we have like four birthdays in January. So we all get together and just have one big birthday dinner. And I might have one more dinner with a friend coming up. So it's really nice looking at a fresh month and being like, it's so open and I can make whatever plans I want. And then I even added something to my February part of the calendar as well, just so that I don't forget when it is. So now I'm gonna wipe off the acrylic calendar, but then I need to let it dry. So while it's drying, I'm probably going to reflect on 2023. Now I'm gonna let it dry, because sometimes it'll get streaks on it and I'll have to wipe it off again. As I reflect on 2023, I like looking through this and just seeing what I have in here. So we have Robbie's ticket to Anchorage from our honeymoon. This is from a coffee shop we went to on our honeymoon. This goes back all through the years. When I started this 2021. All right, now we're reflecting on 2023. So my goals were to read 40 books, which I did. Read a book about marriage. I read actually quite a few. Read an Elizabeth Elliot book. I did that. And then my other two were read the biggest books on my shelf. And I was reading Gone with the Wind all year. And then my next one was read the Narnia series. And I only read one of the books, but it was like the third or fourth in the series. So I still have two more to go. What are my 2023 goals? So for spiritual were to memorize 1 John 1. I did that partly. Go on weekly prayer walks. I didn't really do that. Prayer and fasting. I prayed, but I didn't do any fasting. And for workouts, I did 160 workouts. Meal prepped every week. We pretty much did that, but I can't say for sure. Be calorie deficient, eat more protein to help. I ate more protein, definitely, but I probably wasn't calorie deficient. Start to pair recipes. Getting married, that changed it a lot. I did not do that. Walk every day. I did that quite a lot, but can't say for sure. Read the biggest books that I own. I mean, I was reading Gone with the Wind, but didn't read anymore. I only read one of the Narnia series. I did a no spend month. I was waking up at 5 a.m. at the end of the year and at the very beginning of the year. Use my credit card and get a travel credit card. Yep, did that, and get a new doctor. And then kind of my theme of the year since I was studying 1 John was see what kind of love the Father has given to us, that we should be called children of God. And then I had some monthly goals as well. To wake up at 5 a.m. every day for a week, and I did that in January. Make my bed every day for a month, did that, and start my 160 workouts. I did that. Now the rest of them, I'll leave this on here so you can see, but I didn't do a ton more. And I didn't really look at this that much throughout the year either. These are just some things that stood out to me this year. I tried to catch up in June and I just didn't. From Utah, my fall bucket list, our marriage safety net practices that we do, and then here's some more stuff. This was from our honeymoon. State park we went to. My flowers from the trip and our plane ticket. And then we did 75 soft, which became 75 fluid. I talked about that in Vlogmas, and then I planned Vlogmas but didn't actually do any of that. This was my for a December reset that never got made, but we're gonna do our 2023 reflection. Hi, so I finished my 2023 reflection while I was waiting for the acrylic calendar to dry, and I just wanted to reflect with you guys, and obviously some of it's very personal, so I won't be talking about those things, but I just wanted to go over maybe some highlights with you. 2023 was the continuation of one of the hardest seasons of my life that started in 2022. However, things have gotten immensely better, and even though some mental health things are still a struggle and my health is still a struggle, things are just immensely better. The biggest highlight of my year is that I got to marry my best friend, and the best earthly blessing that God has given me in getting to marry Robbie. And on July 29th, 2023, I married Robbie, and I hope I never forget that day or our ceremony because it was just the best, and marriage has been a huge blessing. I love every single part of it, and I can't even describe how much it means to me and how much I love it and how much I love being married to Robbie. And I think that was one of the ways that God used that to help me in the season of life that I was in a lot. And then I just talked about a few friends that I was really thankful for this year. Work started out really hard with my very first class that I had in 23. I had them the second half, or I had them in 22 and 23, but my class this year is very calm, and so that has been nice at work. Got better in that aspect. My travel highlights this year were my girls' trip to Utah with Laura, Rebecca, and Tylee. And we went to Utah, Nevada, and Arizona, and a few of the places we visited. We visited a few state parks in Utah. We visited Zion National Park and got the lottery to climb Angel's Landing. We visited Bryce Canyon National Park and the Grand Canyon on the North Side National Park. And that was a trip of a lifetime. It was beautiful, and I want to go back so bad. And then Robbie and I got to travel for our honeymoon, and we went to Fairbanks, Alaska, and then flew to Anchorage, Alaska, and it was beautiful. And while we were there, we visited Denali National Park and the Kenai Fjords National Park. And I actually forgot to write that we also went to Seattle because we had a layover, and we went to Pike's Place Market for Robbie's birthday, so I need to add that in here. Just how I ended this reflection is this year God often felt distant, but I know he wasn't. this year was a reminder that the rejoicing often comes after the weariness. And I even saw an Instagram post that said, weary, 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 rejoice, rejoice, rejoice. And it's kind of a take on the Christmas song that says, a weary world rejoices. And that's how I feel at Christmas time, of like, it was so weary, like this year was so weary, and then you get to Christmas and you get to rejoice. And I just feel like that's a good theme like that I see in my life, and especially in this past year, because I was so weary in 22 and 23, but now I feel like I'm in a season of rejoicing, which is just huge blessing. And I said, God gave me my best earthly blessings thus far this year, and I'm so thankful. And then a verse that I wrote was 1 Samuel 7:12b, where Samuel says, thus far the Lord has helped us. And that's just a reminder that I need going into the new year, of even though it was weary, weary, and I'm hoping that it's not going to be rejoice, 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 the continuation of that. I just need to remember, like, even if God feels distant, has he helped me this far? Absolutely he has. And he's going to continue to do that. Why would he not? And so anyways, that's my reflection of 2023 with some highs and some lows in there. So I hope you enjoyed that reflection. And now I'm going to fill out our acrylic calendar for January. All right, so here's kind of going to be my quiet time setup for the new year. And I kind of do the same thing every year, but I have different books to do. So I always do a Bible in the Year plan. And this year I'm doing a book by book one. And I found just one online that I'm going to do. I think it's about 2 to 4 chapters a day. And I'm going to start in Genesis. And today I'm reading Genesis 1 and Genesis 2. Then the book that I'm going to do a little bit deeper study of is going to be 1 John, which I've been doing for all last year, but I kind of got off of it, so I really want to do it. Robbie got me this for Christmas, and it's more of like a devotional commentary. And then for my birthday last year, or maybe Christmas, I don't remember, but Robbie also got me this, which is more of a academic theology commentary for 1 John. So I've been using this one, but I'm going to start using this one as well. I'm going to start 1 John today, but what I've been doing, and I might just finish this up today, is I've been reading through my notes that I took last year just to get back to where I was, and then I'm going to do a whole read through of 1 John today. So those are my 3 1 John things. Then I have my prayer journal, just because for me, when I write down my prayers, it just helps me focus more. And then with my quiet time, I always read some type of Christian nonfiction book. So I'm going to start the year with Holier Than Thou, because I've had this for a while and I've been wanting to read it. So I'm going to start this today. Hi everybody, so the next segment in this January reset, we are going to be talking New Year's resolutions and New Year's goals. So let me open up. As I showed you guys before, I set separate book goals and New Year's resolutions when I kind of reviewed my 2023 goals with you. So this year, just to recap, starting with books, I met these book goals. So the goals that I met, I read 40 books, which I didn't even remember that was one of my goals. So I'm glad I did that, or else I'd have been like, dang, Mackenzie, what are you doing? Another one of my goals was to read a book about marriage. That's because I never really was drawn to read books about marriage when I was single, because I never thought I was going to get married, to be honest. So I was more drawn to books about singleness, things like that. But then I got engaged last year, at the beginning of last year, and so I was like, oh, I should probably start reading some books about marriage before I get married. So I did that. I actually read quite a few. Another goal that I had was to read an Elizabeth Elliot book, and I did, and I read this book that I'm going to put right here. I read a total of 44 books, read/audiobooked 44 books. I read 17 physical books, and I listened to 27 audiobooks. My book goals for 2024. Number 1 is to read 40 books again. I just think that's a really good place for me to be. And I think I kind of have like a sub goal of like get higher than 44, because that's what I did last year. And then my next one is to read my entire top shelf of books that we have on this new bookshelf we have in our living room. I will show you what that looks like just so that you can see. A lot of them are Christian, religious, and nonfiction books. And so that whole top, I want to read those whole thing. A lot of them are short, so I think I'll really be able to succeed in this goal. And then I also got a few other books for Christmas that I added to my TBR shelf. Another one is to finish Gone with the Wind. Guys, I have been reading that book. This June will be 3 years that I've been reading that book. I don't really like it, but it's a classic. And to be honest, the reason that I'm reading this and like determined to finish it, even if it takes me 3 years, is because I put it on my freshman year of high school bucket list to read Gone with the Wind because that was the biggest book I could think of. So I'm finishing that thing, and maybe I'll finish it by the end of January. We'll see. Another book goal that I had for this year is to finish the Narnia series. That was one of my goals last year and I didn't finish it, but I did read one more of the books. And for Christmas, which you saw in Vlogmas, I got the last 2 books when Robbie and I did our chocolate and book date night. So I definitely think that's a doable goal for me this year. My last book goal is to have a competition with my younger cousin Parker for who can read the most chapter books in a year. She's in 3rd grade, and I just really wanted to encourage her to read as much as she can because it's fun and learning is fun. And I'm not going to count my audiobooks for that. I'm only going to count my physical books. So that I think will help me make sure that I'm reading that top shelf of books that I showed you. Now on to other resolutions and goals for 2024. I've split these up into 3 categories. The first one is health, the second is spiritual, and the third one is miscellaneous. I put my book goals under this normally. Starting with health, this is my big one of the year that I'm going to be tracking on my Instagram. You can follow me at @MackenzieCaldwell_ on Instagram to see how that's going. But my first one is walk 500 miles. Cue the song. We're walking 500 miles. I'm also going to count, like if I run, I'm counting that in the walking 500 miles. So it could be walking at incline, it could be walking on my walking pad, walking at the on the treadmill, walking outside with my husband, walking with a friend. I'm going to track it, how many miles. My next one on my health, which is more general, I don't really like doing this general of goals, but I just don't know what to do, is figure out what I can do to help with PCOS if I potentially have that. And one of the big ones is to go to my lady doctor to see if she's able to help with that because none of my other doctors know. So we're gonna see. My next one is to do 75 soft and hard challenges throughout the year. So we're on January 1st, Robbie and I started 75 soft, and it's going really well so far. It's day 3 and we've been successful. And honestly, it hasn't been that hard to do it this go around. Last time we tried it, it became 75 fluid, so that wasn't great, but this time it's going really well. 75 hard we are going to have to do in the summer because we're both teachers and I just could not see myself doing 2 workouts a day and also being a teacher that isn't dead. So we're gonna save that for the summer, but I put that as a New Year's resolution because I really want to try it. It actually sounds really fun to me. And my last one under health is to create a meal prep schedule with me and Robbie. That's been something that I've struggled with, having 2 people in our family now, just figuring out how much food do we eat, how much do we need to meal prep. So I put that under one of my health goals. For spiritual, my first one is to memorize 1 John 1. That was one of my goals last year that I didn't quite hit, but when I reviewed it starting January 1st this year, I was like, oh, I almost had that. So if I do memorize 1 John 1, I'm going to also change this goal to be 1 John 1 and 2. And then my other one is just to learn more about prayer. So reading books about prayer. I want to pray through the Psalms, and maybe this year I will do some sort of prayer and fasting. Now on to the miscellaneous goals. I included my book goals. The next one is to become a 5 a.m. morning person. I really just want to reclaim my free time. That means I don't want to be sleeping during it unless it's at night because I gotta go to bed early to wake up at 5. Basically, being a teacher takes up so much of my time and energy, And I love having slow mornings, and I love having time in the mornings to do things, because by the time I get home from school, I am mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually exhausted. So if I had time in the morning to do things that are helpful, I want to do that. So I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. to plan a trip for just me and Robbie. My next goal is to open a high yields savings account, consistently post on YouTube. So if you're seeing this vlog, I'm starting it. I really want to do a few different things to help with this. One will be Vlogmas, or if I decide to not do Vlogmas next year, to vlog each day of one of the months this year, just to get that practice going. And then another thing I really want to do is this video. I really want to challenge myself to do monthly reset videos, because those are my favorite videos to watch, and I think they can become really creative. I love talking goals and productivity and cleaning, all that stuff. So I think those are the perfect videos for me to be making. Plus, it helps me get stuff done around my house. So my challenge is to post a monthly reset video every month, even if it's late. I'm still gonna post it. Even if it's a mid-month one, I'm gonna post it. And my last goal is to have a closing shift or putting the house to bed time each evening. So Robbie's been a huge help in doing this with me already this year. We've started on January 1st, and even if we don't get the whole house looking perfect, we at least did something for 10 or 15 minutes that helps our house be slightly tidier, so that way when we do have a big reset day, it's not as much of a job. Those are my big goals for this year. The ones that I really want to focus on is the walking 500 miles, memorizing 1 John, reading the top shelf of my books, doing monthly reset videos. I'm also going to be doing some monthly goals, because that's a lot of goals, and sometimes when you make that many goals, you don't reach them. You don't reach any of them. I tend to like making these goals because it's helping me, like, you know, the term like becoming that girl. Like, I'm listing out, if I was that girl, what would I be doing? I would be doing those things. I like doing that. It helps me visualize who I want to be, how I want to be. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set monthly goals to help reach those goals. And this month, because it's my January reset video, we are going to be setting goals for the month of January. And I'm going to take you along with me and my thought process for how I'm going to plan my January goals based on my 2024 New Year's resolutions. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to my next section of my January reset, where we talk about January goals. I've written out my goals in my journal, so I'm going to grab that and then we're going to dive into it. All right, so I've written my January goals right here underneath all my other 2023 goals, just because I like starting January out with the new year, because it's the first month of the year, and also I had a little space in my journal. Number 1 is to set morning and evening walking routines, and the main one with that is to wake up every day before 6 a.m. and at the absolute latest at 6 a.m. But my ultimate goal is to wake up at 5 a.m. This goes with 2 of my resolutions this year, which one is to walk 500 miles and the second one is to become a 5 a.m. morning person. The second one is to start the 75 soft challenge with my husband Robbie. So basically the things that you have to do in the 75 soft challenge: drink a certain amount of water. I don't actually remember what it is, but when I had originally calculated out, it was 3 of these for me. I have to drink 3 bottles of water, read 10 pages of any book, so it can be fiction or nonfiction, but I'm challenging myself to only read Gone with the Wind for that challenge, and then work out every day for 45 minutes. It can be an indoor or outdoor workout. I believe you get 1 active recovery day a week, but we're trying to make it an active recovery, not just a rest day. And then you have to eat on some sort of diet. I don't really like the word diet, but basically my dietitian has been having me track my calories, so I'm just making sure that I'm in a calorie deficit. My third goal for January is to schedule my doctor's appointment to check to see if I have PCOS. I am hoping to do that this weekend and just get it on the schedule. I don't have to go in January, but I want it on the schedule. Number 4 is to start my 1 John study and finish chapter 1. And this morning I finished chapter 1 because I had worked on it a lot last year. Number 5 is to finish Gone with the Wind, and I'm getting close, you guys. And it actually was getting a little more interesting, so that's good. Number 6 is post this January reset video on YouTube, and I think this is going to be my most challenging goal just because I've had to figure out a lot of things with my computer, with my external hard drive, with Final Cut Pro. It just hasn't been working as I would hope it would. My videos aren't coming through super clear when I post them on YouTube. So there's a lot of things I want to fix, but I'm not going to let those things hold me back from posting this video. And I'm also just nervous to post this video later in the month. But I said this in a clip before, even if it's late, I'm posting it. Even if I post this in February, I am posting this video. My last one, number 7, is to put the house to bed every night. And another thing that I'm doing with that every night is as soon as I'm done putting the house to bed, I do my evening skincare routine. So that was the goal that I wanted to add, but I didn't end up adding, is doing skincare every single day. But so far I have been able to do it, and I'm just going to include that under putting the house to bed. When I do my February reset video, I'm going to go over these specific January goals, not so much my 2024 goals, but just the January goals, and let you know how I did on them. All right, I just took down all the ornaments off of the tree. I made hot chocolate too. And I have a few more things that we need to wash, like our soap dispensers for Christmas, and a little jewelry tray that kind of got a little dirty, and then like some Christmas towels. But other than that, I've packed up all the Christmas stuff. Right here, I've kind of stacked it up. I do need to buy one more box for all of or like a little bag of some kind for just a few extra things, and most of it's just like pillows and blanket. We're finally getting ready for it to not be Christmas anymore. Here is my vision board for 2024. I'm gonna go over it real quick, what each of the things mean to me. Some healthy food, because I've been going to the nutritionist, trying to eat a little healthier. I really want to do camping a lot more because Robbie and I got a tent for Christmas. And then over here, I'm sad that I put this on the side because it got cropped out, but it's supposed to say discipline and consistency, which if I had words for the year, it would be that. This, we want to really save up to go on a cruise maybe with our family, and that as well as this one. I really want to become a 5 a.m. morning person, so I have this. This one's also for camping as well. Then just spending good time with friends, building friendships, building our marriage on the foundation of God. And then right here, I'm going to use the mouse. Right here, I'm going to try to be focused on doing my monthly resets on YouTube. I want to read 40 books this year. This and this and this and this are for my walking goal of 500 miles this year. This one is because my sister and my best friend Kylie are both getting married this year, and I am a bridesmaid in one and the matron of honor in the other. So I want to be a good support to them through this time. This is camping and reading. This one we want to start saving and preparing for when we have kids. This one we want to start saving and preparing for when we can buy a house. I want to be focused on God and have good fellowship with other believers. This one is because I'm studying 1 John this year. I was honestly so shocked when I looked back on my 2023 vision board and saw all the things that I had hoped would happen. And like some things on there were things I knew were going to happen. Like I knew I was going to get married. Like Lord willing, and I knew we were going to honeymoon to Alaska. So I put some things on of that. But one of the things I put on for Alaska was some whales. And those are really only on the coast. And we weren't really planning on going anywhere near that. But we ended up going to Kenai Fjords National Park, which was not planned. So it's cool to see when things like that come up. And I thought my vision board last year was a little more aesthetic, but this year it really is focused in on the goals that I have. So I like it. That is the end of my January reset video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. My next month's reset video is going to have a little bit different of a format. We're going to be going over my January goals and how January went, the highs and lows, things like that. So I'm super excited to show the next month to you. But I hope you enjoyed this video talking a lot about New Year's resolutions, vision boards, things like that. So if you did, if you liked it, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. Let me know down below if there's anything that you want to see in the reset videos, or anything that you want me to go into more detail about, or if you'd like to see more cleaning, anything like that. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you next time.